From the very beginning, he had one wish. Not money, not success, not happiness, just one thing. A son. That was all Rustam wanted. A son to carry his name, a son to make him proud, a son to continue his legacy. At least, that's what he believed. His wife, Dilnoza, kind, patient, loving. She didn't ask for much, just a peaceful family, just respect, just love. And when their first child was born, it was a girl, small, beautiful, perfect. Dilnoza smiled, tears of happiness, but Rustam was silent. "Next time," he said, as if this one was not enough. Years passed. The second child came, another girl. Dilnoza held her close, with love, with warmth. But Rustam's face didn't change, still waiting, still expecting, still wanting something else. "This isn't what I wanted," he muttered once, quietly, but loud enough to hurt. Dilnoza said nothing, because sometimes silence is easier than pain. Then, the third pregnancy. This time, everything felt different. Rustam was sure. "This is my son," he said, confident, certain, as if he already knew, as if fate had to listen. The day came, the hospital room, the waiting, the tension. Then, a cry, a newborn, healthy, alive. The doctor smiled. "Congratulations." Pause. "It's a girl." Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Real. Dilnoza smiled, tears in her eyes, holding her baby, but Rustam stood frozen. 3 daughters, 3 times his expectation broken. "This is enough," he said coldly, not to her, to himself. That night, he made a decision, a selfish one, a cruel one, a life-changing one, because sometimes people don't lose their family, they walk away from it. That night, the house was quiet, too quiet, a newborn's soft breathing, 2 little girls asleep, a tired mother holding everything together, and a man already gone. Rustam didn't shout, didn't argue, didn't explain. He just left. A bag, a door, a decision. Cold. Final. Dilnoza didn't stop him, not because she didn't want to, but because she understood. You can't hold someone who already let go. "Take care of them," he said, without looking at her, without looking at his daughters, without looking back. And then the door closed. That sound echoed, not just in the house, but in their lives, forever. Dilnoza stood there, holding the baby, listening to silence, realizing she was alone, not just physically, but completely. 3 daughters, no support, no partner, no help, just her and a responsibility bigger than fear, bigger than pain, bigger than everything. She looked at her children, one by one, the newborn, the 2 little girls sleeping peacefully, unaware that their father had chosen to leave not because of them, but because of who they were, girls. And that truth hurt more than anything. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't break, not fully, because now she didn't have the right to. "I will raise you," she whispered, her voice soft but strong. "I will give you everything, even if I have nothing." And in that moment, she became everything. Mother, father, support, strength. Because sometimes the strongest people are the ones who are left behind and forced to stay. From that day, there was no one else. No husband, no support, no second chance. Just her and 3 daughters, small, innocent, depending on her for everything. Dilnoza didn't have time to grieve, didn't have time to break, because life didn't wait. Bills, food, clothes, school, everything needed attention, and everything was on her shoulders. She worked, early mornings, late nights, any job she could find. No complaints, no excuses, because every time she felt tired, she looked at them, her daughters, and that was enough. "Mom, are you tired?" the eldest asked once. Dilnoza smiled. "No," she said softly, "I'm strong." And she meant it, not because she wasn't tired, but because she had to be. Days turned into years, and slowly, those little girls grew. They learned, they watched, they understood. More than she thought. They saw her sacrifices, her struggles, her strength, and something changed in them. They didn't complain, didn't ask for too much, didn't demand what others had, because they knew nothing came easy. Everything had a cost, and their mother was paying it every single day. One evening, the lights went out. No electricity, no money to fix it. The house was dark, silent. The youngest girl looked at her. "Mom, will we be okay?" Dilnoza sat beside her, held her close. "Yes," she said, without hesitation. "Always." Because sometimes confidence is not about knowing, it's about believing, even when everything is uncertain, even when everything is hard. Years passed, and those 3 girls became something more. Strong, kind, focused, just like her. Because they didn't just grow up, they were raised by someone who refused to give up. Rustam didn't look back, not once, because in his mind, he made the right choice. A better life, a better future, a son. That was all that mattered. Not the wife he left, not the daughters he abandoned. Just one dream, one expectation, one belief. And soon he met someone new. Her name, Malohat. Confident, charming, different. She listened to him, agreed with him, understood what he wanted, or at least that's what he thought. "I can give you a son," she said once, with a smile, certain, as if it was a promise, and that was enough for him. Because sometimes people don't look for truth, they look for what they want to hear. They got married quickly, no hesitation, no doubt, because in his mind, this was a new beginning, a better one, and for a moment it felt like it. Peaceful, simple, hopeful. Then time passed. The first child was born. Rustal waited outside, excited, confident, certain. "This is my son," just like before. The doctor came out, smiling. "Congratulations." Pause. "It's a girl." Silence. Familiar, uncomfortable. But this time, he didn't react the same. He said, "Next time." Again, repeating the same hope, repeating the same mistake. Years passed. The second child came. Another girl. The same silence, the same disappointment, the same broken expectation. But something else started to change. The house was not the same. No warmth, no respect, no connection. His daughters didn't look at him the same way. Not with love, not with pride, but with distance. Cold distance. And Malohat changed too. No longer soft, no longer supportive, no longer the woman he thought she was. "You wanted a son," she said once, cold, sharp. You didn't want a family. Silence, because now he couldn't deny it. The truth was clear and heavy and unavoidable. At first, he thought it was temporary. The distance, the tension, the silence. He believed it would change. It had to, because in his mind, he chose this life, and that meant it had to be right. But time told a different story. The house felt cold, not physically, emotionally. No laughter, no warmth, no connection, just routine, just presence, just people living together, not as a family, but as strangers. His daughters grew up, but not with him, not close to him, not connected to him. They didn't run to him, didn't hug him, didn't ask him anything, because they learned early he wasn't really there, even when he was. And Malahat changed completely. No more sweet words, no more promises, no more illusions. You got what you wanted, she said once, cold, sharp. Now live with it. Silence, because now he understood something. He didn't just leave his old life, he lost it. And this new one was not better, just different, worse in ways he didn't expect. Many times he thought about leaving, walking away, starting again, but something stopped him. Not love, not hope, fear. Fear of shame, fear of judgment, fear of admitting he made a mistake, because sometimes staying in a wrong life feels easier than admitting you chose it. Years passed, and slowly he changed. Not stronger, not happier, just older, tired, regretful, silent, because deep inside he knew the life he once had was everything, and he walked away from it for something that never existed. Respect is not automatic. It's not given because of a title. It's earned through presence, through care, through love. And Rustam had none of that. Not in this house, not with these daughters. They grew up watching him, but not knowing him, hearing him, but not feeling him, because he was there, but never really there. One evening, he came home late, tired, silent, hoping for something simple, a greeting, a smile, a moment of warmth, but the house was the same, cold, distant, uninterested. His daughters sat together, talking, laughing, but when he entered, nothing changed. No reaction, no acknowledgement, as if he didn't exist. He stood there, waiting for something, anything, but nothing came. "Did you eat?" he asked, trying, awkwardly. They looked at him, briefly, then back at each other. "We're fine," one said, cold, short, final. No emotion, no respect, no connection. And that moment said everything, because respect cannot grow where there was never love. Malahat watched from the side, silent, unmoved, because for her, this wasn't surprising. This was expected. "You wanted a son," she said later, her voice calm, "but you didn't know how to be a father." Silence, because now he couldn't argue, couldn't deny, couldn't escape it. The truth was right in front of him, not in words, but in behavior, in distance, in cold silence, because children learn from what they see, and what they saw was a man who didn't value family, so they didn't value him. Simple, painful, real. That night, he sat alone, thinking, not about the present, but the past, because now he finally understood. The respect he lost was never built. That night, he didn't sleep. Not because he couldn't, but because his mind wouldn't let him. Memories came back, not softly, not gently, but clearly, sharply, as if they had been waiting for him to finally understand. Dilnoza, her face, her quiet strength, her patience, the way she never argued, never complained, never made him feel small. And now, he understood why. Not because she had nothing to say, but because she chose peace over conflict, over pride, over herself. Then, his daughters. 3 girls, 3 smiles, 3 lives he walked away from. He remembered their small hands, their voices, the way they looked at him, not with fear, not with distance, but with love, pure, unconditional. And he ignored it, all of it, because he wanted something else, something that didn't exist, a son. And for that, he gave up everything. That realization hit him hard, not all at once, but deeply, slowly, unavoidably. I had everything, he whispered, his voice empty, and I left it. Silence. Because that was the truth, the real truth. Not what he told himself before, not what he believed, but what was. And now, it was too late. Or at least, that's what he thought. Because sometimes, life gives you a chance not to fix the past, but to face it. Time moved on, quietly, unnoticed. Years passed, and slowly, everything changed. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but inevitably. Rustam grew older. His hair turned gray. His steps became slower. His voice, quieter. But inside, something else grew. Loneliness. Deep. Heavy. Unavoidable. The house was still there. The same walls, the same rooms, but the feeling was different. Empty. Because presence doesn't mean connection, and he had no connection left. Malahat stayed, not out of love, not out of respect, just habit, just routine, just life. And his daughters grew into adults, independent, strong, but not close to him. They didn't ask about him, didn't sit with him, didn't care, because for them, he was never truly there. So now, they didn't feel his absence, even when he was present. One day, he tried to speak. "Sit with me," he said. Simple, almost hopeful. They looked at him, then at each other. "We're busy," one replied, without emotion, without hesitation, without care. And that moment felt final, because now he wasn't just ignored, he was invisible, completely. That night, he sat alone. No TV, no noise, no distractions, just silence and himself. Thinking, remembering, regretting, because now there was nothing left to distract him, nothing left to avoid, nothing left to hide behind, just truth and the life he chose, or rather, the life he lost. It was an ordinary day, nothing special, nothing planned, just another quiet walk. Rustam moved slowly, step by step, with time, not with purpose, because now there was nowhere to rush, nowhere to go, nowhere he felt needed. He walked past a street, familiar but distant, like a memory he didn't visit often, and then he saw her, standing there, simple, calm, unchanged in a way that hurt. Dilnoza, his first wife, the woman he once left behind, Time stopped. Not for the world, but for him, because some people don't disappear. They stay, in memory, in regret, in truth. She noticed him too. Their eyes met, not with shock, not with anger, but with recognition, quiet, deep, real. He didn't move at first, didn't know how to, because this wasn't just a meeting. This was a mirror, showing him everything he once had, everything he lost. Finally, he stepped closer, slowly, carefully, as if afraid she would disappear. "Dilnoza," he said, his voice low, uncertain, different. She nodded, calm. Yes. No anger, no bitterness, just presence. "How are you?" he asked. A simple question, but loaded, with years, with regret, with everything unsaid. She looked at him for a moment, then answered, "I'm fine." Simple, but strong, because sometimes being fine means you survived. He hesitated, then asked the question he feared most. "The girls?" Her eyes softened, slightly. "They're doing well." That answer felt heavier than anything. "How well?" he asked, almost afraid, almost hopeful. She took a breath. "They studied. They worked hard. And now, they have good jobs." Silence. "They're happy." That word hit him deeply. Happy, without him, without his presence, without everything he thought was necessary. And in that moment, he understood something. They didn't need him. They never did, because someone else gave them everything, and that someone stood right in front of him. They're happy. That word stayed with him, echoing, repeating, unavoidable. Rustam stood there, silent, trying to understand something he never imagined. "How?" he asked, quietly, not doubting, just confused, because in his mind they needed him. They needed a father, a man, support, direction, but they didn't. They grew, without him, strong, independent, successful. "How did you do it?" he asked, looking at Dilnoza, not as before, but with something new, respect, real, earned. She smiled softly, not proud, not arrogant, just calm. "I didn't do it alone," she said. Silence. They did it. That answer felt different, because she wasn't taking credit, she was giving it to them. "They worked hard," she continued. "They believed in themselves, and they never gave up." Rustam listened, every word, because now he wanted to understand. "They didn't have much," she added, "but they had enough." Silence. "What do you mean?" he asked. She looked at him, gently. They had love. That word hit deeper than anything else. Love. Something he didn't give, something he didn't value, something he didn't understand until now. "They respected me," she said, "not because I asked them to, but because I was there." Silence. Because that was the truth. Simple, clear, unavoidable. Presence. That's what matters. Not expectations, not dreams, not demands. Just being there. And he wasn't. Not when it mattered. Not when they needed him. Not at all. And now he saw the result. 3 daughters. Not weak, not broken, but strong. Better than he ever imagined. And none of it was because of him. That realization didn't break him loudly, but deeply. Because sometimes the hardest truth is not losing something. It's realizing you were never part of it. He didn't expect it. Not at all. After everything, he thought that was it. Just a meeting, just a reminder, just a painful truth. And then life would continue. Without them, like before. But this time, life had something else planned. A few days later, there was a knock on his door. Soft, unexpected. Rustam opened it slowly, and froze. 3 young women stood there, confident, calm, strong, familiar, too familiar. His daughters, all 3, standing in front of him, not as children, not as memories, but as adults, real, present. He couldn't speak, not at first, because this moment was something he never imagined, never believed would happen. "Hello," the eldest said, her voice steady, respectful, but distant. "Can we come in?" Rustam stepped aside, without a word, because words felt too small. They entered, looked around, quietly, as if observing not a home, but a life, his life. They sat down. He stood, still unsure, still overwhelmed. "I didn't think," he paused, "you would come." The second daughter looked at him, calm, strong. "We didn't either." Honest, direct, real. Silence, but not cold, not angry, just careful, measured. "We came because," the youngest said, "because we wanted to see you." That sentence felt heavier than anything. Not "we missed you," not "we needed you," just "we wanted to see you." And somehow that meant everything. He looked at them, one by one, trying to find something. Anger, hate, blame. But he didn't see it, not clearly, not strongly, just distance, and something else, something unexpected, calm. Because sometimes people move on, not with anger, but with peace. The room was quiet, not tense, not angry, just still, as if everyone was waiting for something important. Rustam looked at them, his daughters. 3 lives he once left behind, 3 faces he never watched grow. And now they were here, right in front of him. "I don't know what to say," he whispered, because for the first time, he truly didn't. No excuses, no explanations, no justification, just silence. The eldest daughter looked at him, calm, strong. "You don't have to say anything," she said. That sentence felt unexpected, almost confusing. He frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" he asked. The second daughter spoke this time. "We didn't come for answers." Silence. "We already lived without them." That truth was sharp, but honest, and somehow that made it heavier. The youngest leaned forward slightly. "We just wanted you to know something." Rustam's heart tightened. "What?" he asked quietly. She looked at him, directly, without fear, without hesitation. "We're not angry." Silence. Those words didn't make sense. Not at first, not easily, not after everything. "You should be," he said, his voice breaking slightly. "I left you. I didn't come back. I didn't give you anything." The eldest shook her head. "You gave us something." He looked up, confused. "What?" he whispered. She answered, "A reason to become strong." Silence. Because sometimes pain becomes power. "We saw what happened," she continued. "We understood early, and we chose to be better." The second daughter added, "Not because of you, but because of her." Dilnoza, their mother, the one who stayed, the one who gave everything, the one who never left. And in that moment, everything became clear, the difference between leaving and staying. After they spoke, the silence changed. It wasn't empty anymore. It was full, full of truth, full of realization, full of everything he tried to ignore for years. Rustam sat there, looking at them, his daughters, not as children, but as people, strong, confident, complete, without him. That thought hurt more than anything, not loudly, not suddenly, but deeply, because now he understood something. They didn't need him, not then, not now, and maybe they never would. "I missed everything," he said quietly, his voice heavy, broken. Their childhood, their first steps, their first words, their first achievements, everything, all of it, gone, not taken, not lost, but left by him. "I thought I needed a son," he continued, almost to himself. But I had everything. Silence. And I didn't see it. The truth, finally spoken. Too late. Too late to fix. Too late to change. But not too late to feel. And that feeling was heavy, real, unavoidable. His daughters looked at him, not with anger, not with blame, but with something else, understanding. Not forgiveness, not completely, but something close, because sometimes people don't carry anger forever. They carry lessons, and they move on, without looking back, just like he once did, but differently, better, stronger. After they left, the house felt different. Not empty, not silent, but exposed, as if everything was finally visible. Rustam sat alone, the same chair, the same room, but not the same man, because now there were no illusions left, no excuses, no lies, just truth, clear, sharp, unavoidable. He looked around at everything he had, the house, the furniture, the life he built, and realized something. None of it mattered, not without connection, not without love, not without them, his daughters, his family, the life he once had and walked away from. I can't get it back, he whispered, because that was the truth. Some things don't return, no matter how much you regret, no matter how much you understand, no matter how much you wish. Time doesn't go backwards. It moves forward, without waiting, without asking, without caring, and the past stays where it belongs, gone, untouchable, final. He closed his eyes, not to sleep, but to feel everything at once, because now there was nothing left to avoid, nothing left to hide, nothing left to pretend, only reality. And sometimes reality is the hardest thing to face. In the end, there was no dramatic change, no miracle, no second life, just truth and the weight it carries. Rustam didn't become happy, not completely, not like before, because some losses don't heal the same way. They stay as a reminder, as a lesson, as something you carry for the rest of your life. But something did change, not outside, inside. He stopped blaming, stopped expecting, stopped demanding, and started understanding. Understanding what he had, understanding what he lost, understanding what truly mattered. Love, respect, presence, not sons, not expectations, not pride, just family. And that realization came too late, but it still came. And sometimes that matters, not for fixing the past, but for becoming someone who understands it. His daughters continued their lives, strong, successful, happy. They visited sometimes, not often, but enough. Enough to show they didn't carry hate, only distance, and a quiet kind of peace. Demnosa lived her life too, calm, proud, surrounded by the love she built, not given, earned. And Rustam sat in that same chair, but now he didn't feel empty. He felt something else, clarity. Because sometimes life doesn't give you what you want. It shows you what you already had. And if you don't see it in time, you learn it too late. If this story made you think, value your children no matter who they are, because true wealth is family, and realizing it too late is the hardest lesson of all. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because sometimes the most painful stories teach the most important truths.